Welcome to Spotlight Chronicles. We're beaming out to all you curious minds.
Around the world.
Yeah, all around the world. Tonight, we are taking a deep dive.
Ooh, a deep dive.
Into Zorba the Greek.
I love it.
You know that classic film
Yes.
from 1965, based on the novel by Nikos Kazantzakis.
That's right.
But we're not just talking about the film itself, though.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at it through a fascinating lens.
Okay. I like it. Tell me more.
A review
All right.
from the Cleveland Press,
Okay.
published back when the film first hit theaters.
Wow. A vintage perspective.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Like a time capsule, right?
It's like we're getting a peek into a conversation from decades ago.
Right.
Revealing what resonated with audiences back then.
Exactly.
What were the things that they were talking about?
And what might still hold true today.
Ooh, I like it.
So this reviewer,
Okay.
Tony Mastroianni, he didn't hold back.
Oh, really?
He calls Zorba the Greek right in every way.
Right, in every way.
Talk about a bold statement.
It certainly grabs your attention, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When a critic uses that kind of definitive language.
Yeah.
You can't help but wonder.
Yeah, what did they see?
What did they see that made the film so right?
Yeah.
It begs the question, what elements worked so well together?
To create such a powerful impact.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that jumps out from the review is Mastroianni's reaction to Anthony Quinn's performance as Zorba.
Oh.
He says Quinn doesn't just play Zorba. He I.S. Zorba.
He I.S. Zorba. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's not just acting, that's embodiment.
Wow.
And when an actor can disappear into a role like that,
Right.
it's captivating.
Totally.
Suddenly, it's not Anthony Quinn on the screen.
Right.
It's Zorba himself.
Yeah, and Mastroianni really paints a picture with his words.
Oh, how so?
He describes Zorba as a lusty,
Okay.
dirty, bearded old Greek
All right.
who even admits to stirring up trouble wherever he goes.
Oh, he sounds like a real character.
Yeah.
That instantly sparks curiosity, doesn't it?
Right.
It's like we're being introduced to a force of nature, someone who lives life on his own terms, unbound by convention.
Exactly.
You just know this is going to be a character worth exploring.
Absolutely. Now, Mastroianni seems particularly impressed with the director, Michael Cacoyannis, and how he managed to capture the essence of the novel, especially what he calls the Rabelaisian character of Zorba.
Ah, yes, that Rabelaisian spirit.
What is that?
Zorba's zest for life.
Okay.
His embrace of pleasure, his willingness to challenge norms.
Right.
It all points to that rich tradition of satire and celebration of the earthly delights.
Yeah, it's like a theme that likely drew audiences in back then.
Exactly.
And still holds a certain allure today.
Yes, absolutely.
So the review gives us some of the key plot points.
Right.
The Englishman, played by Alan Bates, who inherits a mine in Crete.
Okay.
His partnership with Zorba to get it up and running.
Okay.
Their encounters with the Frenchwoman, running a struggling hotel, and that captivating widow who meets a rather tragic end.
Oh, wow.
And amidst all of that, Mastroianni highlights the film's vivid, exciting scenes.
The vivid and exciting, okay.
He talks about moments of brutality, humor, and pathos.
All intertwined.
Yeah, all intertwined.
Wow.
He specifically mentions the brutal stoning of the widow.
Oh, my.
And the image of those old women waiting to scavenge her belongings. Scenes that must have been incredibly powerful and thought-provoking.
Yeah, for audiences back then.
He can't stop raving about the black and white photography.
Wow.
He even describes some of the most striking images.
Okay.
Like Irene Papas, who plays the widow, walking down a sun-baked road, and those close-ups of wrinkled, toothless, cruel old women.
My goodness.
It's fascinating how, even without color, those images can burn themselves into your memory.
They do. It's true.
It speaks volumes about the artistry involved, the way light and shadow are used, to create a world that feels both real and otherworldly.
It does. It's true.
Sometimes stripping away the color allows us to see the essence of things more clearly.
It's true. Less is more.
It's interesting, though, because while Mastroianni talks about the violence and brutality, he ultimately argues that Zorba the Greek is at its heart.
Okay.
A story about the joy of living.
The joy of living.
That seems like a bit of a paradox.
Yeah. How does that work?
Yeah.
How can those two things coexist?
How can a film encompass both the harsh realities and the beauty of life?
Right. Like life itself.
Yeah.
It's about finding that delicate balance, isn't it? Acknowledging the shadows, but choosing to focus on the light. Zorba the Greek doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of life. Loss, heartbreak, cruelty. But it also reminds us that there's an indomitable spirit within us that yearns to celebrate life, to find joy even amidst the ruins.
It's like watching Zorba dance on the beach. That iconic scene just bursts with his pure, uninhibited joy. It's hard not to be swept up in that energy, even knowing the darker elements of the story.
Exactly. And that scene, that dance, I think it encapsulates the film's central message. Even when life throws its worst at us, we still have the capacity to find joy, to express ourselves, to connect with something bigger than ourselves. It's Zorba's gift to us, this reminder to embrace life fully with all its complexities and contradictions.
It makes you wonder, why does a film from 1965, based on a novel from even further back, still resonate so strongly with modern audiences? What is it about Zorba the Greek that transcends time and continues to captivate viewers today?
That's a great question. I think it taps into something fundamental about the human condition. We're all searching for meaning, for connection, for ways to navigate the complexities of life. And Zorba, in his own unconventional way, offers us a blueprint. He teaches us to embrace our passions, to live authentically, and to find joy in the simplest of things.
So it's more than just a story about a Greek adventurer. It's a reflection of our own inner struggles and aspirations. We see ourselves in Zorba's journey.
Yes.
In his quest for something more.
Precisely. And I think that's why the film continues to resonate across generations. It speaks to something universal, something timeless about our shared humanity. It's a reminder that the search for meaning is an ongoing process, and that sometimes the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected sources.
You know, we've talked about Zorba's carefree spirit, his zest for life. But isn't there a danger in that approach?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Could it be interpreted as irresponsible, even reckless in certain situations?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of Zorba's complexity. Yes, his impulsiveness, his willingness to throw caution to the wind can lead to complications, even to tragedy.
Of course.
But there's also a liberating quality to it. He challenges us to question our own rigidity, our tendency to overthink and overanalyze.
So maybe it's not about blindly following Zorba's lead, but rather about finding a balance between his free-spirited nature and the Englishman's more measured approach. There's wisdom in both perspectives, right?
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that there are multiple ways to navigate life. And that each approach has its own strengths and weaknesses. Zorba reminds us not to get so caught up in planning and analyzing that we forget to actually live.
It's interesting how the reviewer, Tony Mastroianni, keeps coming back to Zorba's Rabelaisian nature. It's almost as if that's the key to understanding the character's enduring appeal.
And I think that's a crucial element. Zorba's Rabelaisian spirit, with its focus on earthly pleasures, adds a unique dimension to the story. It's his zest for life, his embrace of sensuality, his willingness to challenge convention that makes him so compelling. Remember, the review highlights his lusty and dirty qualities, suggesting a character who's not afraid to indulge in life's delights.
That contrasts sharply with the more reserved Englishman he befriends. It's almost as if they represent two sides of the human experience, the intellectual versus the instinctive, the cautious versus the impulsive.
Precisely. And that dynamic creates a fascinating tension throughout the film. It forces us to question our own assumptions about how we should live, how we should approach the world. Zorba, with his unconventional wisdom and unbridled enthusiasm, challenges the Englishman's more rigid worldview, pushing him to open himself up to new experiences and ways of seeing the world.
It sounds like their relationship is at the heart of the film, this clash of personalities and worldviews.
It is, and it's what makes their dynamic so compelling. They are both on a journey of self-discovery. And they learn from each other, even if they don't always see eye to eye. Zorba teaches the Englishman to loosen up to embrace life's pleasures, while the Englishman offers Zorba a sense of purpose and grounding.
You know, thinking back to the reviewer's description of the film's visual impact, I'm struck by how he emphasizes the use of black and white photography. In a way, it seems fitting for a story that explores such stark contrasts. Life and death, joy and sorrow.
That's a brilliant observation. Black and white photography has a way of stripping away distractions, of distilling the essence of a moment. It allows us to focus on the raw emotions, the interplay of light and shadow, the subtle expressions on the characters' faces.
And it mirrors the themes of the film, doesn't it?
It does.
The duality of existence, the constant push and pull between opposing forces. It's as if the visual style itself is in conversation with the narrative, reinforcing those central ideas.
Exactly. It's a testament to the artistry of Michael Cacoyannis, the director.
Yeah.
He understood the power of visual storytelling and used it to create a truly immersive and unforgettable cinematic experience. And in a way, it forces us as viewers to lean in, to pay closer attention, to decipher the nuances of the story that are being told through visuals as much as through dialogue.
I imagine that adds to the film's timelessness, the way it draws you in and makes you part of the experience.
It does. And it's one of the reasons why Zorba the Greek continues to captivate audiences even decades after its release. It's not just a film you watch, it's a film you experience, a film that stays with you long after the credits roll.
So if we were to step back and consider the bigger picture here, what do you think this decades-old review tells us about the power of storytelling and its ability to transcend time?
That's a fantastic question, and I think it goes to the heart of what we're exploring here. This review, written in 1965, is a testament to the enduring power of stories that connect with our deepest human longings and anxieties.
It's like these stories become a bridge between generations, allowing us to share in universal experiences and emotions.
Exactly. And Zorba the Greek, with its timeless themes of joy, sorrow, the search for meaning, and the complexities of human connection, is a perfect example of a story that continues to resonate across decades.
Yeah.
Offering audiences a chance to grapple with these enduring questions and perhaps find some solace or inspiration along the way.
And sometimes it takes looking back at a piece of criticism from another era to truly appreciate the lasting impact of a film like this.
Right.
It's a reminder that great art, in whatever form it takes, has the power to transcend time and spark conversations that continue across generations.
Absolutely. And perhaps that's the most beautiful aspect of it all, that a film like Zorba the Greek, inspired by a novel and brought to life on screen, can continue to spark these conversations and inspire us to grapple with the big questions about life meaning and our place in the world. It's a testament to the enduring power of art to connect us across time and space.
Well said. You know, it's interesting how the reviewer focuses on Zorba's ability to find joy, even in the face of adversity. He calls him a life force, someone who embraces every moment with gusto. But is there a darker side to that kind of unbridled enthusiasm? Could it be seen as a form of escapism, a way of avoiding the harsh realities of life?
That's a fascinating question, and it touches on the complexity of Zorba's character. There's no doubt that his zest for life, his tendency to dance through life's challenges, can be seen as a form of escapism. But I think it's more nuanced than that.
How so?
Well, consider the context of the film. It's set in a world that's experienced war, poverty, and immense suffering. Zorba himself has faced his share of hardships, yet he chooses to focus on the beauty and joy that still exist in the world. It's not about ignoring the darkness, it's about choosing to celebrate the light even when it's flickering.
So it's a form of resilience, a way of coping with the inevitable pain and suffering that life throws our way.
Exactly. It's about finding a way to keep dancing even when the music is faint and the world feels heavy. And that's a powerful message, one that resonates deeply with audiences, especially in times of uncertainty and turmoil.
It's like Zorba is showing us that it's okay to embrace joy, even when things are tough. It's not about being naive or ignoring the problems of the world. It's about finding a way to hold on to hope and to celebrate the moments of beauty and connection that make life worth living.
Beautifully put. And I think that's what makes Zorba the Greek such an enduring and inspiring film. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there's always a reason to dance, to laugh, to connect with the world around us, and to celebrate the gift of life.
It also makes me wonder if there's a bit of Zorba in all of us. That yearning for freedom, that desire to embrace life fully, even if it means breaking a few rules along the way.
Perhaps there is. And maybe that's part of the film's enduring appeal. It allows us to tap into that part of ourselves that yearns for authenticity, for connection, for a life lived on our own terms.
It's like a reminder that we don't have to conform to society's expectations, that there's beauty in our individuality, and that it's okay to dance to the beat of our own drum, even if it sounds a little different from everyone else's.
Beautifully said. And I think that's a great note to end on. The film invites us to embrace our inner Zorba, to find joy in the midst of chaos, and to live life with a little more gusto, a little more passion, and a lot more dancing.
So it's funny, isn't it? We started with this simple review from 1965. And it's led us to this really profound exploration of what it means to embrace life fully.
It's amazing how art can spark these kinds of conversations. A single review can act as a catalyst, prompting us to re-examine our own perspectives and to consider new ways of seeing the world.
And in this case, it's led us back to Zorba the Greek.
Yes.
A film that continues to captivate audiences decades after its release.
Yeah.
What is it about Zorba's story, about this lusty, dirty, bearded old Greek that continues to resonate so deeply with people all over the world?
I think it boils down to a few key elements.
Okay.
First, there's Zorba's radical authenticity. He's unapologetically himself, flaws and all,
right,
in a world that often pressures us to conform, to fit in, to play it safe. Zorba's free-spirited nature is both refreshing and inspiring.
Yeah.
He embodies a sense of freedom that many of us yearn for.
It's like he gives us permission to be ourselves, to embrace our quirks and passions, even if they don't fit the mold.
Exactly. And that ties into the second element, Zorba's infectious zest for life. Despite the hardships he's faced, he never loses his ability to find joy in the simple things. Dancing music, good food, the company of friends.
Right.
He reminds us to savor the present moment, to appreciate the beauty around us, and to never take life for granted. He's a reminder that joy can be found even in the most unexpected places.
And that's a message that seems particularly relevant in today's world, where we're constantly bombarded with information and pressures. It's easy to get caught up in the anxieties of daily life and forget to simply enjoy the moment.
Absolutely. And then there's the third element.
Okay.
Zorba's search for meaning.
Right.
He may not always articulate it, but he's clearly on a quest to understand his place in the world. And in that search, he forms deep, meaningful connections with the people he encounters, challenging them to grow, to change, and to see the world in new ways.
So it's not just about living life to the fullest. It's also about connecting with something larger than ourselves.
Right.
About finding purpose and meaning in our relationships with others.
Precisely. And that's what makes Zorba the Greek such a powerful and enduring story. It's a reflection of our own search for meaning, our own desire to live authentically, and to connect with something beyond the everyday.
It's almost as if Zorba is a guide, showing us a different way of being in the world.
In a way, he is. He challenges our preconceived notions about how we should live, how we should think, how we should experience the world.
Right.
And in doing so, he opens up new possibilities, new ways of seeing ourselves and our place in the universe.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. It's amazing how a single review from decades ago can spark such a rich and thought-provoking conversation.
It really speaks to the enduring power of great storytelling. Zorba the Greek, both the novel and the film, continue to captivate and inspire audiences precisely because they tap into something universal and timeless about the human experience.
Well said. And for those who haven't experienced Zorba the Greek, I encourage you to seek it out, whether you read the novel or watch the film. I think you'll find something in Zorba's story that resonates with your own search for meaning, for connection, and for a life lived with passion and authenticity.
And who knows, maybe you'll even find yourself doing a little Zorba dance along the way.
That's a fantastic image to leave our listeners with. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Zorba the Greek. We'll be back soon with another Spotlight Chronicles exploration. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those curious minds engaged.